resident, alhamdulillah, over here in Rochester Hills. He has a robust professional journey spanning over 30 years in IT and system designs. And he has dedicated 27 of those years as the president of a data and analytics consulting firm located in Troy, Michigan. And he is also the co-founder of a nonprofit organization, 5 Pillar Institute for Entrepreneurship, which promotes entrepreneurism amongst Muslim communities. Prior to his entrepreneurial endeavors, Brother Quaid spent 5 years serving as an operations research analyst, and he earned his master's degree in industrial and system engineering from Virginia Tech. Jazakumullah khair.
Either way will work. Assalamu alaikum. I don't need this. I think I needed to streamline. That's what I needed. Okay. Because I don't need it for 4 people. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So normally when there are a lot of people, I always start by asking people that how many of you have heard of ChatGPT? And I normally get around 50 to 60% of the people who have heard about ChatGPT. And then I always ask about, like, have you played with it? Have you, And then a lot of hands go down. And then I ask about how many people are, like, they consider themselves as an expert or they use it on a daily basis. And then I find normally 10 to 15%, which is very surprising to me, because this technology came out in November of 22. And I have been following since then. And there is one interesting thing is that there is nobody can say I'm an expert in ChatGPT. There is no course I have taken. I have not got any degree in it. And any one of us can learn, can use it, and be an expert, and can present. And I always ask in the audience, it is possible that somebody in the audience might know even more than me. So please, I'm ready to be corrected, ready to for the audience. If you want to chime in, please do so. So this one is for people who are kind of have heard about it, but have really not sure what it is, what's this hoopla about, So that's my target audience, if you will. And I always joke about people, particularly if there are young families out there. I said, all of a sudden, do any of you here have kids who have become like A grade student recently? And and if there is a case, you just do not know your kids are using it. You may not be using it. So with that said, let's say Bismillah. So what is ChatGPT? It's not like a software you install on your machine. It's really a technology. And the basis of the technology is what they call LLM, large language models, which are based on neural networks, which is a part of the artificial intelligence research which has been going on for years and years. And finally, there is enough computing power to do all these calculations. So when you type a prompt, which I will show it to you, like you search in Google, although it's a bad example, I do not want to use that, but that's what we always use every day. When you type it in, it responds to you back, like Google does, and then the way it works is it captures it, and then it writes one letter at a time. And it is all by all these combinations, because it has read every book possible, it has watched everything possible, it has read all the books in the library. So I always joke with people that it's like a super smart digital friend you have. I would not call it a wise friend, but it is a friend who has knowledge about almost everything you can possibly imagine. And it is good to have that person handy with you. Like a lot of times, like, I'm not sure about this. Guess what? You have it here. Well, Hey Siri is getting there. It is not exactly the way ChatGPT works, but Hey Siri is going to acquire all the stuff which is in ChatGPT soon, and Hey Siri would work exactly like that eventually. So the idea is, if you want to have a digital friend forever, BFF kind of, it is with you all the time. And ChatGPT got famous because they were the first one who released this technology from a company called OpenAI. But actually, this technology has really came from Google. And so Google was the kind of the pioneer in this. And then now Google has a product, similar one, called Gemini. Actually just got released recently. And there are many of them. I think you were talking about, somebody told me about generating videos and audios and solving specific math problems. All kinds of LLMs are out there. But ChatGPT is the one I normally use it as an example because that's handy for anybody, a common user to use. You do not need any degree. You do not need any IT degree of any sort. You just need to know how to type and how to use your phone. The one so if you do not have it yet, you can go right now, depending on what kind of phone do you have. If you have Android, you can go to your Google Play. If you have your Apple, I don't know what their Apple Store, you can go there and you can just right now type Microsoft Copilot. If you do Copilot, this will show up, you download it, and now you have really ChatGPT on your phone. And you can do it literally right now if you choose to. And then you will have ChatGPT with you. It's free. So yeah, talking about free and paid, ChatGPT, the one is a free version out there, which everybody has access to anywhere in the world. And there is a paid version of ChatGPT, which is a higher version of model. It gives you better results in some ways. And interestingly, the paid version of ChatGPT, which is $20 per user per month, is the same as Microsoft Copilot, which you get for free. So you can just, if you want to just start experiment, there are some differences. The ChatGPT, the company which came out with the ChatGPT is a company called OpenAI, which is working in partnership with Microsoft. And Microsoft acquired this technology, and they have been giving it out for free right now, the Copilot. So here's the other things I cover, depending on amount of time we have. We'll cover some real-world example, the way kind of I have been using ChatGPT, which is the best way to kind of learn. What's brand new? This technology is moving just so fast. Every day you see something coming up with that stuff. Pros and cons of using it and not using it. Ethical considerations, some references which I have. I can use this PDF, and if you choose to give it to the people, you can, and then final some conclusions. Showing up good? Okay. So one of the most important thing, although I referred Google search because of the typing, because we all have this paradigm of using search. Whenever we have a question, we go to Google and search it. This is not Google search. This is a lot more than Google search. So if you just use it as Google search, you are really doing disservice to that stuff. And when I give you some examples, I think you will understand that why it is not Google search. It is way more than that. So, although I have an engineering degree, I'm really not an engineer. I've been in the software industry for a long time. always wanted to learn more about Einstein's theory. It's hard to understand. It's like, you have to have a physics degree to really. You can ask ChatGPT, explain to me Einstein's theory like I am a high schooler or I am a 10th grader. You cannot do that on Google. If Google gives you an answer, it will give you a link to several websites where you can go and read and figure it out. No, this will create that specific answer for you. So now you can take it so many ways, that give me as a 10th grader. Give me as an example, I love football, American football. Give me Einstein theory like how you will explain to somebody who loves or who understands American football. And it will explain you in that way. I have used it to write basic legal contracts. If you have an apartment, if you want to sublease, you can just say, I have this apartment, I want to sublease, I have all these things I want to do. It will create a legal, and I'm living in the state of Michigan. You can have a contract. My daughter had a really bad experience with American Airlines. And normally you think like, what do I write? It takes time. You can write it, obviously. And English not being my first language, it's always a little difficult to start. Here you say, I had a bad experience with American Airlines. Here was my flight number, some details. Here's my name. Write a letter of complaint. And it will write a really good formal complaint letter for you, which I did, and she got some money back. Something which will take you an hour or two to think and write and all that, you can literally use this kind of technology to do it. I think Sheikh and Dr. Ramzi, we were talking about, one of the first thing I did actually is to see how this technology works. I asked it to write a khutbah for me, although I have never given a khutbah, but I was just interested, like how would it do it? Like, can we even do that? Yep, it did. And this was December of 22. I'm sorry? You can ask it in Arabic. Yes, it will give you in Arabic. Yeah, it will give you in Arabic.
So it's memorized the whole Quran, right?
It has, yeah. It has read Quran, yes. We went to visit our daughter in New York City. And, she's been living there for a while, but, I have my way of doing things, and I wanted to just walk around as much as I could. I wanted to just try different restaurants, more ethnic than just general American. You can give all the details about, like, I am an Indian Muslim who would like to walk, would like to use all the public transportation. I have 3 days. I would like to visit some museums. It will give you a trip plan accordingly from what you ask. And I have used something like Ramadan, mashallah, is coming. What's the most important dua in Ramadan? And if you have a thing on your phone, you can do it right now, and it will, which Dr. Ramzi will confirm. It will give you the dua, which I forget now, short dua about Ramadan. It will give you that answer. Actually, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, when he did the graduation for the Zaytuna College, right? Did you guys see it? So he gave a 5-minute, his start, and I thought it's him. Then he says after reading it, he said this was the ChatGPT version. And then he said now it's going to be my version. So he stopped it, and I did not know the difference. Can't. There is no way to do it right now. There are people who came up with a tool in Princeton where you can feed the stuff and say, was it, used by its percentage is very low, and you cannot you cannot discriminate against somebody by saying, I think it is. There's just no way to be sure.
So I said it. I'm in the Senate member in Wayne State, and we are discussing this topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very difficult. But I think something we cannot avoid
Oh, they are using it. Every.
I heard it in the early 2022. My daughter is a university student, and I was surprised. And everything I ask is in my cell phone. I use it, but I don't use it the way you were saying. I don't even think that I can use the religious purpose.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, you always have to be careful. I mean, I would not take it because I will come back to this thing called, they have this thing called hallucination. You know, it can give you completely wrong answer.
yeah, you have to.
So, you know, you need to trade carefully, but I have not seen any big thing which I would say, you know what, like, what is this? Kids, every kid is using it.
Yeah, one
Every
of my students asked him, "Do you believe in Allah?" He said, "Yes." And he wrote, "Why?" Yeah.
Oh, they asked the Chat GPT, do you believe in Allah? Yeah,
Whatever they have, they will say.
yeah, yeah.
Data supports.
And I will come to that where how can we influence this? Because there is a lot of Islamophobic content which can come from this stuff. So I always struggle with any kind of presents, you know, my 25th wedding anniversary. I'm like, what do I do? Ask ChatGPT. You can describe yourself, you can describe your wife, and say, you know what was the best thing to do? You know, a lot of time, you know, people on LinkedIn, you know, somebody has a 5th year anniversary or 10th year anniversary of something, and you always think about like, what should I do? Congratulations, and let's leave it there, or should I do more? Ask ChatGPT. I know this guy. It'll give you a nice thing. You can modify it. I never take it, just copy and paste and do it. You have the right to change it, but it's a great brainstorming start, if nothing else. You can give a full article. Now you can give literally a megabyte, so whole PDF, and say, read this and summarize it for me. For all the research papers and stuff like that, you know, so many of them, and you don't have time to read everything. That's one way of doing it. This was my daughter, you know, she's a writer, and there was a writer's strike. So she was saying, like, I need to find another job. What do I do? I said, for ideas, I said, I don't have ideas. I'm not in your field. I'm not in New York. Ask ChatGPT. And it did help her. Something which I would have not thought about. There was an exhibit going on in New York, and it kind of told her that, no, you should be looking at, you can be in museums, working for something. We have used it. You know, as a family, you can give your specific ethnicity, kind of food liking you have, and you can say, make a meal plan for me for next 1 week. While I was at IGD, somebody, you know, it's a very desi community there. Somebody says, like, can you give me what's the ingredient difference between a Sindhi biryani and a Bombay biryani? I said, I never thought about that part, but it's a really good one. And then not only you can say, it will give you, and you can say, give it to me in a tabular format, and tell me what is common and what is not. See, that's the difference between this Google search and ChatGPT. That's the important point to remember, that I emphasize it again and again, that you can go into, like, you're conversing with somebody. So, you know, if you talk to somebody, say, you know, it makes sense, but what about this, or what about that? You can have that conversation. People have used it as a coach. So if you have a plan to run a marathon or some specific thing you want to do, you can say, I want to do this. How do I go about doing it? I want to run a marathon, but I live in Michigan. I cannot go run outside in February. So what do I do? What would be I work from 8 to 5. And then I have a break, you know, for my dinner and all that. So it's knowing all this stuff, prepare a schedule for me so I am able to run a marathon at this time. So it will know you're asking today, 3 months from now you want to run a marathon. It will make a schedule for, and not only that, you can say, put it in my calendar. So it will remind me and all that stuff. Yes, yeah. The calendar is an iPhone, right? Yeah. Yeah, inshallah. Khan Academy, which a lot of people, kids use, they have this thing called Khan Migo now, which is LLM and ChatGPT enabled, where it can create an individualized plan for every kid. Depending on how the kid is performing at one level, and then it will automatically change everything so it can give you the plan for that specific kid. Personalized plan. If you want to check an argument, if you're going, people who are not believing in Allah, and how do you argue with them? You can have this argument back and forth with ChatGPT before you go and argue with the person. People I interview sometime, they have used ChatGPT to prepare for the interview using ChatGPT. And you can have this back and forth. You can say, become my interviewer, and I'm applying for this company. Ask me a question, I will write an answer, evaluate my answer, and then ask me another question after that. So you can go this back and forth. It is not one time you write it and it will answer you and then you do something else. You have this back and forth with it. So I think we can keep going, but I'll just be quick. People are using this as a co-founder of your company. A lot of time, you are always looking for a partner. I want to start a business. I need a partner because I only know IT. But if I'm starting a restaurant, I want somebody who knows more about restaurant business. Guess what? A lot of knowledge. You can say, you know what? I'm an IT guy. I want to start a restaurant. You become my partner who knows all about food and restaurant. And let's work together and make a business plan on all the things we need. So it can do that for you. It can do market research for you about if I open a restaurant here, how would it work? What do I need to do? It can be a business coach, any kind of competitive research you want to do. Yes, and you can create a whole website. So you open a restaurant is just as an example of a business, but you can say, this is my restaurant, it's a Pakistani restaurant, and here's my menu, create a website with all the images and all the HTML and everything done. Create a logo. Write, these Facebook postings for me because my inauguration is this day and what should I be doing, and write down for like next 10, 15 days and schedule it so that it goes out every day. And obviously, whenever you do these things, you want to make sure that you're not using any copyrights, which can get you into trouble. But in general, that's what people are using it now. There are other specialized tools for like creating images. So ChatGPT has its own thing called DALL-E 2. But then there's a very good one called Midjourney, which is not related to ChatGPT, but you can use that.
They're also free, or you have to?
It's free. I mean, there is a free version that you can use it up to a certain point, and then after that it will charge you. But for our use, you will never get into the paid version of it, unless you are a company who's using it every day, and a lot of people are using it. So you can create logo. A lot of people, I'm looking for a graphic designer. Guess what? This will be your graphic designer.
So after they ask you about Somali logo, they gave them this picture.
Yeah, this one, like I just did it very quickly. Without any, you can keep going back and forth. I don't like this, I like this. Like the way you will work with a graphic designer. And this was done almost 6-8 months back. This has been improved so much now. I gave this one first, actually the day, Saturday at the conference, Michigan conference, Reconnect conference, I think, in Dearborn, the day October 7th. That was the October 7th day. So this is old version of it. Yeah, and that thing is still going on. Well, Dr. Ramsey is here. Lot of medicine example. Lots and lots of medicine examples about it's passing all the tests, medical tests, USMLE 1, 2, 3, all the Stanford tests and everything. It has passed all of them. So it has acquired all that knowledge. And this technology is now being integrated into all these hardware. Your medical diagnostic hardware, people are using it for drug discovery, medical imaging, obviously, all the X-ray analysis and all that. Lot of research is now combining this ChatGPT. And I'm using ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just one version of LLM. There are so many others out there. But ChatGPT is for common people like me. It has already been proven that when AI is being used, one can detect breast cancer much earlier. There is a company out there which is using AI vision for brain surgery equipments, where it makes brain surgery much safer. Because again, it has seen all the brain surgeries done before. If
Ask him, how can you cure breast cancer? And he gave us the answer. Very complicated. Very complicated.
Yeah. And then you can say, give me an answer, particularly for somebody like me, give me an answer like I'm a 10th grader or I'm a 10-year-old. And then it will be able to explain to me, because I can understand it then. You can understand the answer it gave you, but I cannot understand it. But that's the thing about this technology. You can say, give me like I'm a 10-year-old. And it will tell you that way.
So you give it simplified.
Simplified, yes.
How do you diagnose breast cancer? Reading the mammogram, or how do you do it?
Yeah, so the machine which has this software has seen lot many more than the person who just looks at it at the time. It has seen 10,000 of them. And you as a doctor might have seen 1,000 so far. Something which has seen 10,000 or 100,000 or a million can detect much faster. So, and again, there are so many examples in the entertainment industry. This whole writers' strike which happened recently was all about AI, because they're all worried about their jobs. If AI is going to write, who's going to pay me? And so there was this whole dispute between all these big studios, Netflix and Amazon Prime, that you will not be using AI to replace our job. Because again, this thing has read every novel, every fiction, every non-fiction, and it can generate any kind of new ideas. So there's a lot more thing, this is scary, this is new world altogether, and a lot of people do not realize it yet, but it is coming. It has not percolated all the way to, common human beings yet. But it is already having an effect on all the white-collar workers.
Someone write individualized personal statement for admission, how you differentiate?
Yeah, can't.
You will write different personal statement for different students.
Right, right.
50 students applied and 50 different personal statements.
Yeah,
You cannot even detect.
yeah,
It's,
yeah. Well, yeah, I have an example, but I'll talk about it now.
So I think in future, they will put all this in a chip and they put it in our brain.
Yes, it is coming. Well, you must have heard of Elon Musk has already done it. Yeah, it's being worked on right now. But about the recommendation letter you talked about, we were talking. This Professor Ethan Malik, he talks about this. I'll give you a reference. I think it's a good idea to subscribe to his newsletter. I follow it, and he talks about his guys experimenting with this thing since it has come out, and he has the latest and greatest, which OpenAI gives it to him to experiment. And he says that I will be doing disservice to my students if I do not use ChatGPT to write take the help of ChatGPT to write their recommendation letter. Because if other professors are using it for their students and I'm not using it because I don't have enough time. I have to write 10, 15, 20, 50 recommendation letter. I cannot write nicely for every one of them. But if ChatGPT helps me, I give some information about the student, it comes up with a really nice one, I modify a little bit, here's a recommendation letter. And if I don't do it for my student, but other professors are doing it, my students would be at disadvantage. So it is almost required for him to use it. So that's how it is going to be like that. It's in the next one. But yeah, I mean, there was this big example which came out where this guy, I had never heard of him before, but there's a big singer called Drake. Young people, I think, follow him and stuff from Canada. And he had this song called Heart on My Sleeve, which he did not write. But he woke up one day and that song was playing all over under his name. So somebody had taken his voice, wrote a nice song, and under him put it out in the world. And he said, there's nothing I can do about it. It is a nice song. If the people want to think that it's me, go ahead. So that's and this is real stuff. This is not imaginary that it's going to happen in the future. And so obviously same applies to all kinds of crazy stuff which somebody can use. Somebody, like if somebody records me and now they can put anything which I have never said, and you can create a video me saying those things. That's right.
My daughter writes Islamic stories for children. So she cannot draw
ChatGPT.
She found an artist, and the artist charged a lot, and she did with this program.
Yeah. Yeah.
She charged my daughter.
So the person who did it used ChatGPT to give it back to her.
I told her,
Yeah.
but it was reasonable. And she was in Egypt. The artist is in Egypt.
Yeah.
She did the whole book.
Yeah. So some of these brand new features, which are very recent, and one of them actually is from today itself. So what they say now, the ChatGPT has a vision. So you can take a photograph of something and say, tell me what's in there. So they had a big example where if you have a bicycle and you want to move the seat up, and it's not the easy one where you need a wrench of some sort. So you show the picture of the bike, you show the tool set you have in your garage, and you say which tool out of all these tools I need to move this thing up, and it will tell you that. So it has that vision, and now you can think about, imagine all kind of things you can do with it. I have used it actually personally. You have a whiteboard where you're in a meeting, you're writing things down on a whiteboard, and then somebody has to write all the notes, like after the thing is done. Now, take the picture, upload it here, and give me this thing in writing. That's useful, right? For you as a teacher also, like all the kids just take the photograph and then they don't have to make notes. Homework we talked about. You can have a homework, you can scan it, upload it, and it will solve your homework. If the teacher is smart, saying, I'm not going to give you in the electronic format. I'm going to give them in a paper format so they don't have to do it. No, guess what? Now you can take a picture, upload it, it will solve the problem.
There is a square root or integral or derivative.
Yeah.
From the picture, will you understand that?
That is beyond my pay grade. I just know the application of it. But you're right. It's incredible. Voice. You can, by the way, the application you have, Copilot, you can talk back and forth with it. So you don't have to type everything. You just, voice. the Copilot, which you have to pay for, which is with Microsoft, you can put it in your Outlook and basically tell it in the morning, saying, look at all my emails which are due, what should I be replying, but what should be my top priority, draft the responses. And then you can look at the responses and you can reply to people. Recently, at least the ChatGPT people, they released this version where it has its memory. So for example, if it knows I'm an IT consulting company person, I have a family, all this stuff, I've been interacting with it, it will remember those things. So when it answers me next time, it will know my background. So I don't have to explain every time, that I'm looking for this. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to wrap it up. Yeah. So a video just came out, by the way. You can literally type something and it will create a video for you. Talk about creating images. It just was released today. There is this new thing, it's a little bit, take me some time to explain, but you can have your own GPT, if you will. So if Dr. Ramsey has his own books and ideas and all those things, and he wants people to go to this particular version of ChatGPT, you can upload all these documents, and then people would be able to, for example, if I want to be a khatib like Dr. Ramsey, it does not know you yet. But if you put all your khutbahs in there and create a version of ChatGPT, I should be able to create a khutbah out of that. That will be like copying your khutbah. So here's an example about, you have an X-ray, you upload it, and say, tell me what's going on. And yeah.
And from this picture, we can tell if you have a cancer.
Yeah, it says evaluation from professional, correct? Correct. Yeah.
So is the same ChatGPT you put it there or there is specific?
No, same ChatGPT. Yeah. Future of AI, you talked about, the chip in the thing. There are glasses coming up, goggles. There are people you can have a thing here, so you don't have to go and look at the phone and all that stuff. I just had an experience. I was in Istanbul for a day, and how to communicate with the taxi guy. They had a phone, right? So they would just Google Translate. So he will say something on the phone while he's driving 100 miles an hour, and please don't do that. And then he will give it to me, and so I can read it in English. And then I will click button and to reverse it, and then I will do and then he will read it. Oh, okay, that's where you want to go. Now you don't have to. Eventually, it will be this thing which you're talking about, where when I say something, it'll automatically I can tell it, translate. This guy speaks Urdu. It will translate in Urdu. When I respond back, when I hear it back, it will be in Turkish. So there are cons of ChatGPT. Who owns the content, what's going on, a lot of people suing each other, hallucination, as I mentioned before. There can be some incorrect answers. There is an inbuilt bias in this content because it has read what it has read. And it's our job to correct it. So whenever you see an answer, you will see this and that, and if you don't like an answer, click on this one. So it knows that this answer has, and then they have said that they check on all those things to make sure that they are correcting it. And I think always need to remember that there is no wisdom or moral values you can derive from it. These are just words. This is just a technology.
So a lot of bad stuff in the internet, like fake news.
Yeah, it has all of that. It has all of it. It has read everything. A lot of ethical considerations. I think you can read some of them. Should I tell people that I'm using ChatGPT? And people have all kinds of arguments that I don't, when I giving this lecture, should I tell everything I did, all the books I read? No. So why should I tell that I use ChatGPT to do something? It's just another resource. But then there are some people saying this is different. ChatGPT is different. You should say. So there are a lot of these ethical considerations. I talked about recommendation letter. You don't have a choice but to use this for your students. Homework, research, all those things are changing as we talk about. A lot of these references, when I send a PDF, you can use some of them. Stuff. One of the particular one I always recommend is this one useful thing. .org. This is by Professor Ethan Mollick. I will definitely, if I were you, if you are interested in this subject, you should subscribe to his newsletter. So yeah, it is here. It's part of our life. We have to use it in the best way we possibly can, and give your feedback to the technology also to improve it, and so that hopefully it is less and less biased. So I have other slides after that, but mashallah, I think this is good. We'll be ready for Isha.
My concern is that the students will be lazy and they will get good school, and then what will happen after admission?
Yeah. But guess what? In the work, they don't need to use it either. You use ChatGPT there also.
So like you said, I mean, the people will be lazy in the future because they're going to rely on this. You remember the first time they invented the calculator?
Yeah.
The high school, or not, the elementary school people, they got this calculator. They didn't memorize the table of multiplication. They use it, so they became dumb people.
Our generation, we used to memorize.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
used to memorize it during our time, but
Yeah.
the grandkids, they say, why I should memorize the table of multiplication? I have it here.
Yeah. Table of multiplication we can say in one second, but they cannot do the simple calculation. Yeah, because they are like, they said, why you do these things? We can use calculator. These are the calculator.
That's why you realize sometimes, like if by mistake, if they close the cash register,
Yeah.
and then this change,
They don't know.
they don't know, they can't even figure out.
Exactly.
You're talking about like $5, $6, $7, not like hundreds of dollars, right? They can't figure it out. They're like, oh, the register is closed.
Yeah,
They don't know.
it doesn't work. You're right.
Now they look for their phone because they're gonna remember themselves.
Has this been watched by CIA or FBI? What
They
you're
use it a
typing?
long time ago.
What?
They use it.
They watching what we are typing? That's my question.
Yeah, because it's like an open book. Definitely everybody is watching. And CIA or FBI always are behind all those
They
technologies.
always have backdoor access.
Yeah.
One of the slides you mentioned says it's biased toward Islamophobia and Palestinian. Means if you write something against Israel, it won't show up. It
Yeah.
tell you, oh, I'm not authorized to give you that answer.
Yeah. Actually, there's a
That
whole.
means the Jews controlling it. Yeah, of course.
I mean, I don't know if Jews control, but I think the whole thing is that it is showing you what it has read. So if you want to make a difference, we need to have better writers. So it reads that stuff as well, and it presents our viewpoint. And if you find something wrong, click on that stuff.
I think how much we can use it to have like a self-learning, like how much we can use the intelligent systems, how much can learn more. Like one time we asked him about like a case of Palestine, and it said like it said that there's like no occupation for them. Like we start to teach, there's no this is like a
Yes.
occupation, and he said like, okay, thank you, I will make my correction. Like how much we use it, we'll make a correction.
Yeah, I think you're right. The more it reads about it, the more people interact in that basis.
I think they make a control, but also it has a self-learning.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we need to do our part. We cannot just
Yeah.
slide that's out of our control. We just need to do our part. So yeah, thank you.
If you want to know something that's not in the system, I mean, in the World Wide Web, the beginners of all this, Google or anything, then what they do? Suppose there is a very specific thing in the remote part of a country
Yeah.
that no one knows about. Okay, there is no literature, nothing on the.
It's not here in that
It's
case.
not-
Yeah,
not-
it's not
Yeah,
here.
it says, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's not here. Yeah. But you know,
more
these
information.
companies are spending literally millions and billions of dollars for in different languages to learn all those things. So there are people working literally for like, we will give you 5 cents if you see this. So there are people who are working all over the world, in villages and all that, and through phone, and Chat OpenAI would send them these images, and then they will type that what they see in this language, what does it mean, and for every one of them they do, they get like 2 cents, 5 cents, 15 cents, and there's a lot of people are making money on that because that's how they're gaining all this knowledge, so that
What is the market value of this ChatGPT?
it's not a public company, so nobody knows that. But Microsoft has spent $10 billion so far, just getting some percentage of the company.
There are some stocks that AI,
There are other companies who have AI driven.
artificial intelligence,
Yeah, NVIDIA.
stocks that now they are buying.
Yeah.
Some friends are buying because in the future it will.
Yeah. So 8 o'clock is the Isha? Sure.
Yeah, you will hear that.
Oh.
Yeah. I just was watching TikTok of an Arab guy sitting in the desert and he's asking, "Teach me English," and he is
Yeah.
chat is teaching, and he is talking Arabic and little English, and she's correcting him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, as if life.
Is there internet in the desert you're talking about?
He says in Jordan or yeah. So
I have
he
one
was using
simple question. Definitely, what is the difference between artificial intelligence and this ChatGPT? How much component of artificial intelligence
smart.
they use it?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, from what I understand, is artificial intelligence is like a key,
Yeah.
big umbrella word.
This is part of it.
And then there are so many versions of it. Machine learning is one of them, so is LLMs, all these large language models which are based on neural networks. So, and then they are talking about what they call the AGI, artificial general intelligence.
If you want to make wudu or something, I think
Yeah,
they will
yeah.
they will start that 8 o'clock.
So,
Like even that face detection, that's a version of AI basically, right? Now you have this
yeah.
face detection. You go there and then they recognize. I mean that's AI.
Jazakallah khair, brother Quaid. Thank you very much.
This is it.
Thank you very much. So
No, just one Copilot is good. Yeah, so if you just, this is the best one.
This is the best one.
This is better than the free ChatGPT.
Microsoft.
And even if you have an Apple phone, that's not a problem. Use Copilot. You have an Apple phone.
Just write chat GPT and we'll get you Microsoft Copilot. Yeah, there is. This is the sign of it.
Yeah, just Copilot.
This is the ChatGPT I use, but looks
Yeah.
like you have to do it every